Channel, which is at Sylvia Holler, where economics is made very simple for senior high school students and anyone who loves economics and want to learn. Today's tutorial is going to be on business unit, specifically sole proprietorship, which is happen to be one of my favorite business organization. I can't wait to share. So let's move to class. Hello, welcome back to class once again. I'm so excited to meet you guys once again. Today's class is, as I said in the introduction, is going to be on sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship, which is one of the business organizations that we have, right? It's one of the business organizations I will advise everyone to dream of. Yes, in this today's world, if you are a sole proprietor, you are like one step ahead of everyone. So let's see. So in today's class, we are going to see what sole proprietorship is, which is the definition of sole proprietorship. We want to say, how do you start a sole proprietorship? No matter how you know it, how do you, if you want to start a sole proprietorship, how do you start it? You want to see some of the advantages you enjoy when you are a sole proprietor, and then if you want to also see some of the disadvantages that you may encounter or some of the challenges you may encounter as a sole proprietor, and then you want to see how you can raise capital. Probably where will you get money or finances or other things that you need to be able to start your business. So, without wasting my time, let's see what we mean by sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is a form of business in which a single individual controls everything, owns everything, or owns everything of the business, right? That means he controls the affairs of the business with the main aim of making profit. So I'm retaking that again. It is a form of business. Sole proprietorship is a form of business in which a single individual owns and controls the affairs of a business with the main aim of making profits. So that's what we call sole proprietorship. So if you see anyone trying to set up a business and he or she is the only person that owns everything and that controls all the affairs of the business, then obviously the person was operating a sole proprietorship. After all, the main aim of setting any business is to look for profits, right? So that is obviously their main aim or the main aim of sole proprietorship. So here's some examples of sole proprietorship. You can have petty traders, people who sell. Yes, can say I like the woman smile. So this one, everybody must go and buy her stuff because she's really ready for customers. So this kind of business, right? You see, she's the one who will be the owner of the business, right? She's selling onion, yes, I can see that. And then you can see anyone who is a those how do we call it? How do we call it? A freelancer or affiliate marketer, right? Such people are because the person is the one who will sit down and plan. What do I want to do? Okay, I want to sell things online. I want to set up a shop online, or I also want to be a middleman between someone's business and then the consumers. So once that person's business, his main aim, set up that business, and he's the one who owns the business and then controls the business. Then because maybe probably some of them may not totally own everything that they are selling online. They may be affiliate sellers, so they could be um, getting products from other people and introducing to people, other people who buy. After that idea, that business of being an affiliate marketer, he is the owner. So such people too are sole proprietors. Or someone can decide to use his or her own car and then tag it as a commercial car. And that person becomes a driver and then makes money out of it. That business of being a driver, commercial driver, inspired by the person himself, is an example of what a sole proprietorship. So let's recap here. Sole proprietorship is a business in which a single individual owns and controls the affairs of a business with the main aim of making profit. So we have so many examples. You can have a farmer, retailers, etc. So if you see anyone owning, setting up a business, and the person is the only one who initiated that idea, started that business, and then is doing everything by himself or herself, then we can say that that person is a sole proprietor, right? So you can let me know, anyone you know as a sole proprietor can let me know in the comment section who you know or any example of sole proprietorship that you know. Just let me know who. Personally, it may not be the person's name, but maybe this kind of business can be sole proprietorship. I'm very eager to know what you know about this. So please write in the comment section for me. Okay, so let's see some of the characteristics. What will tell you that this business, maybe you are going somewhere, you want to know that can I say this business is sole proprietorship or not? So some of the clues that we can get to know that, oh, this business can fall under sole proprietorship. So let's see some of the characteristics could be one, the owner provides capital for the business. So if you want anyone who provides capital for the business, is the owner, or he owns that business. Once he owns it, he's the one who provides capital. So that is one of the characters. Please forgive me for the background noise because I have kids around. So I'm recording this time in the evening. They were on back, and then I thought they had roaming by. Rather evening time, I have to record it, and then with all this noise, forgive me. Let's move on. That's the plight of every mother. Okay, so the next one is some of the characteristics is that he takes all the decision of the business alone. So whatever the business needs, he's the one who takes the decision about everything the business needs. Right. Aside that, he doesn't share the profit with anyone because he's the one provide capital alone. He doesn't. No one helps him in taking in do all the suffering or set up everything. He do. No one helps him unless he decides to hire anyone. At the end, the profit belongs to him, so he enjoys the profit alone. He doesn't share it to anyone. Okay. And the next way, also another indication is that there is dedication and self-interest, right? The person is so dedicated with the job because this is his business, his hard and plan, right? He has planned this all by himself, and his goal is to succeed in that. So once his goal is to succeed in that, it means that obviously he's going to make he's going to make profit if he's serious with his business. So in that case, you said that he's so much dedicated with his business because the self-interest is that this is his sweat, this is his hard work, and he must make profit out of it. In that case, he's so much dedicated, right? Aside that, they also are able to employ few people. So you see, food partnership, sometimes they want to hire one or two employees or laborers to help them, right? So these are some. If you see any business that such that the owner is the one who provides the capital for the business, the owner is the one who takes decisions for the business, the owner enjoys the profits all alone by himself. He's so much dedicated, which you can have other people who are dedicated to other jobs. But you can see that he's so much dedicated because of the person's self-interest. And then they employ few people. We can then say that this business could be a sole proprietorship. Now let's see what how if you want to start a sole proprietorship, what do you do? You have heard that oh, this person is very good. You enjoy the nicest part is enjoying your profit alone. Now you want to start with one. If you want to start with one, then what will you do? First, I want you to make sure that you think and write down any business idea that you have. So okay, I have a business idea of maybe of selling online or being an affiliate marketer or turning my private car into a commercial car where I can make some money out of it, or I have the my aim of probably produce a particular good and sell whatever your idea is best for you to pen it down. You write it down that this is your idea, your business idea. The next thing you want to think is you want to plan. What name do you give your business? Will your name be Sylvia Econ's class, or your name will be Sylvia Limited, whatever name you want to create for your business, right? Just give it a name, but make sure the name is unique. So it's not be like you are copying or you are plagiarizing other people's names. Because if the name you have picked for your business, because of registration purposes, right? The name you have picked for your business is the same as someone's business. There's going to be some conflict somewhere because if you have to register the business, someone may say that copyright, this is my business. That's the name of my business. Okay. So that is that let's all move also move to the next thing you want to do is to set make sure you get your capital ready. Yes, get your capital ready. What will you do to get your capital ready? I want you to watch a video on my channel, right? It's about capital. What do we mean by capital? So it's not about only money. What do you need? All the things that you need to be able to start a business, you term it as capital. So once you know that you're going to start a business, you're going to need capital. So as I'm saying again, if you know that you don't know much about what we term mean by capital, I cannot explain it in this class. Please quickly check on my channel. If you're not subscribed, please do and subscribe and give us a thumbs up. So once you subscribe, you see that you just go through my channel, you see some of my videos, right? You see a video on capital, what it entails, right? So once you get your capital ready, then the next thing you want to do is that you have to register your business according to the laws of your country. because for tax paying purposes, right, you don't have to register your business so that you don't get into trouble with the government or the states, right? So you have to register your business, and then once you're done registering your business according to laws of your country, then you can also move on to make sure you pay your taxes. Make sure you pay your taxes. Don't forget not to pay because it could get you into trouble one day. So the best thing for you to do is to stay safe once you're starting a new business, right? So I'm recapping the how to start a business again. You think and pen down your ideas, get a name for your business, but make sure your name is unique. It's not someone else's business that inspired you. Because I saw someone's business name that inspired you, you want to use the same name. No, it could go against you. So get your business name, which is unique to yourself, and then you also get your capital ready. You also register your business according to the laws of your country, and then never to forget to pay your taxes. Now let's see, what are some of the things you enjoy? Your advantages, some of the things you enjoy for having your own business. What's some of the advantages you enjoy for having your own business? One, it is simple to form. It's very, very simple and easy to form. It's just that you sitting in your room and thinking of something to do or to produce. Now, let's see some of the advantages of having a sole proprietorship. Some of the advantages are it is very simple and easy to form. So if you are dreaming of having your own business, it's so as easy as sitting in your room. As I said, I gave you some of how to start a business. Just sit in your room and think which ideas, what do I want to produce? What is whatever you want to do? What is my passion? How can I turn them into a business? Or what exactly do I want to produce? Have I seen this opportunity that can take chances of to whatever it is, you just sit in your own room, think about it, and then you put the business to how do you call it? You just start that business as simple as that. As long as but remember you must make sure that whatever idea you're having, it must be according to the laws of your country. You shouldn't flout any law in your country. So it's as easy and then very simple to form. Also, you know that there is quick decision making. You want to make a decision over something. It's not that you're going to call the board of directors that everybody, someone will be voting. I don't want this, I don't want that, or you have to sell your ideas to convince people before a decision is making made. Sorry, a decision is made. So in this case, what you have to do is just to sit wherever you are in your room, in your bedroom, wherever your any plan that comes to your head. This is what I want to do. You get up, you do your thing because you are the owner. You take every decision. So it's very easy to make any decision of your choice, right? You don't have to consult anyone. So it's very you have quick decision making. And then as said in the characteristics, there is dedication and self-interest. So you see, because you have worked hard, it has been your dream to set up a particular business. And once you have it, you're not going to joke around with it. You're going to be serious and dedicated to it to make sure that it succeeds. So you have that self-interest in it that this must succeed because it is yours, right? So you can say there's so much dedication, dedication in and self-interest in this kind of business. So which is a very good thing. Also, you realize that you enjoy the profit after all, you stop it yourself all by yourself. You are the one providing profits by yourself all alone. So obviously if the profits come, you are the one going to enjoy the profit all alone. So that is one good thing about sole proprietorship. You enjoy everything alone by yourself. Okay. And also you enjoy independence. You're not going to be dependent on someone. For the person you told that wake up early morning by 6 o'clock, I need you to be at the office, or I need you to stay late today because we have other things to do. We have some meetings to attend. No, you are independent, total independent. You do whatever you want to do at any time. You can decide and say today I'm not going to work, or this week I'm taking a vacation, or this month I don't want to work because your business. So whatever you want to do with it, you can do with it. So that is one of the advantages, right? Unlike if you were working for someone, you can't tell the person that I want to take a holiday. I don't feel like working today, right? Which is not possible. But in sole proprietorship, it is very possible. You enjoy your independence, right? Also, there is personal contact and cordial relationship with the customers. Normally you see those big companies, you hardly see the main entrepreneur, the CEO come into contact with the customers. Whether they are treated right or not, they do not know. But in this case, because your business, you always have personal contact with the customers, right? So you're able to treat them well, because once you treat them well, you know they're going to come back again buying your product or your service. So this is a very good thing and a very positive aspect of sole proprietorship. Also, you will see that it helps people to It helps you to be able to distribute and produce goods in a country. You cannot leave the goods for other people, for only the government to produce in a country. If you have not watched my video on capitalism or not capitalism alone, economic system as a whole. So I had 3 or 4 videos on economic system, which I've broken down, and I would advise you to watch if you have not watched it. You see that leaving production in the hands of only the individual or the government alone is not the best, right? But in this case, you get to help in producing goods in your country, which is a very normal thing to do, right? So if you mention your name, oh, this person was the one who produced this for us to be enjoying now, which means it's a very, very good thing to do. So that's one advantage also of sole proprietorship. And you get to employ people. You know, people are there without jobs. And if you have been blessed or God has blessed you with ideas to set up your own business, obviously you may need 2 hands or three to help you. Once you're able to get people and employ them, you're provided food for such people, right? So more or less, you have created employment avenue for other people, not because it's only you. Though the business was all about you, you realize that when you get to a point where you need other people to help you, you become a source of like hope, or someone who has created opportunity for other people to be able to get jobs, which is a positive thing to think of, right? Apparently for your country, as long as you do that and you pay your tax, you're going to generate revenue for the government. But the government needs money to be able to run all these things, to be able to fix roads, build more hospitals or whatever infrastructure they need. Where would the money come from? Most of their monies come from taxes. If you are not working, how do you pay tax? In this case, you're having your own business. That business is going to be a tax. That tax you pay is going to benefit the government and the country in which you live. So you can see that it's going to make you a pretty good citizen, right? Which is very, very good. Okay, let's say with few disadvantages. Some advantages, as long as you enjoy advantage, you should know there are challenges you can face. So sometimes you realize that you don't have enough capital because you are the only one providing capital. So we will soon see it in the sources of capital very soon. So you see that no matter how you want your business to be so big or something, you are limited by the amount of capital you can generate all by yourself because you are the only one who is providing capital. Also, you see that in case of death, right, of the owner, if you are the owner and then or the owner, in case anything happens to the owner, he's sick, the business is not able to go as, especially if the person is alone, that person has not hired any other person or doesn't have any laborer to help him. Once the person takes ill or is sick or passes away, you see that the business cannot continue anymore. So that is one advantage. Unlike other business forms that you will see that if the person is not there, the business continues. But in this case, unless the person transfers the business to maybe a relative who will probably be interested in the same business. If not, the business just comes to an end with the proprietor be not being there. Yeah, that's one disadvantage. And then there's also no specialization. You see a writer being the same person doing everything, right? Unless in few cases you see them employing specialists to help them in a particular field. If not, mostly you see them being the manager, being the salesperson, being the delivery person, the same person. So though you may not have specialty in those fields, that same person is doing everything because it's his business. Especially when it's at the beginning stage, that is not that's not expanded for you to hire other, bring in other laborers, which will be an additional cost to you. So if you want to do everything by yourself, so that is one disadvantage. Also, we have the high possibility of making bad decisions. The fact is that wisdom are not lie in the head of one person, right? So people will say that 2 heads are better than one, 2 good heads are better than one. If you have 2 bad heads, you are in trouble. It's even worse. So you have 2 good heads better than one. It means that when you want to take a decision for your business, you may sometimes you need other opinions to tell you that, oh, the decision you want to take is going to harm your business or not. But if in this situation your mind is to make sure that you your mind is your main aim is to make sure that you have um your main aim is to make sure that you have this business going on with good ideas. What you want to do is that you want to consult other people. But in this situation, you are the only one who is the owner of the business. So you have put all the decisions on you, right? Like whatever you think of that is good, you just do it. Sometimes you take some risks that probably if you could have were 2 or 3 or 4 that were taking a decision, you might have avoided those risks that would have cost you a lot. So there's a high possibility of making bad decisions, right? Because you are alone. And then also there is limited liability. Sorry, there's unlimited liabilities unless you have registered this as an LLC, which you treat as a limited liability company. But in this case, most sole proprietorships have unlimited what most have unlimited liability. Because, and what it means is that sometimes if you run into debt, right, or you are bankrupt, because of the business, you may end up selling your own house, your own car, right, just to defray the cost. If you are not able to pay, you can sell your house to. All you are doing is to make sure that you are defraying that cost. And if the cost, the business, whatever, when you sell everything in your business, you're not able to cover up for the cost, you have to end up selling. If you have to sell your house, you have to sell your car, your television, everything you have to sell. So you're able to make up to cover that cost. You have to do it because the business is a sole proprietorship. It's not registered as a limited liability company, which is going to be treated in the next class. So you see that these are some of the disadvantages, right? So we want to see where. So you'll be thinking of, so in this case, where do we get you get capital as a sole proprietor, right? Where can you raise capital? There are so many options, but let's see a few of them. You can get capital through your own personal savings. So you can decide to save something for yourself. You can decide to save, right? And once you save, that savings can become capital for you. And be careful, if you are thinking of saving, because of inflation these days, don't save for a long time. You're going to be a waste of money because before you realize that you're ready to do your business, the inflation would have eaten up your your savings, which may not amount to anything you want. So if you want more on the inflation, I think I have a video on that in my on my channel. You just go to my videos on the channel, you see a video on that. That's on inflation. That's by the way. So let's also, sometimes you can get a little profit. The profit that you gotten from the business at the startup, you can use that profit instead of using that profit to buy stuff for yourself or to pay debt and everything. You can use that profit as another form of capital in the business. So instead of using the profit, you put the profit back to sponsor the business again. So that profit we call the plowed back profit. You put the profit back into the business. Or sometimes you can go to the banks or relatives to ask for loans. You borrow from them that have this business idea I want to do, but I don't have enough capital. Can I get some loans? If it's a bank or relatives, and then they will lend it to you. But make sure that if you are going for those loans, the interest rate should be far, far, far lower. Consider the interest rate. Don't just be in hurry because you want capital to start your business. So any money you get, you're going to use it borrow. No, you must consider the interest rate. If possible, get a a loan that may have zero interest on it. If it's not possible, then probably make sure the interest rate on the loan you're going to give to you is very, very minimal, that will not affect even the profit you're going to make. If not, you end up using all your profit in paying for interest, which doesn't make sense, right? Also, you can use your windfall if you are there and then you are someone who is into lottery, or who is there and someone will maybe just give you some money or something that you never thought of that you're going to have. That's like a windfall. So those things can be converted as capital to start your sole proprietorship. So if you are there and then all of a sudden an auntie or an uncle calls you that, oh, I've sent you this money, or probably someone said, oh, you have inherited this from this person you were not aware of, or something that was lying somewhere and then all of a sudden has generated for you huge income. You can use that one as what, capital, a source of capital for you to start your business. You can also do high purchases. So in these days, people don't like doing high purchases. What would you prefer to do is to do affiliate marketing. You don't have the money to buy the good and to sell, and by your passion is to sell those goods. What you can do is to, instead of maybe the high purchase, you can do affiliate marketing. So whilst you play as a middleman, you just be the one who advertise the product to the possible consumers, and when they buy, you make your commission or your profits on whatever they have bought. And also, if you've done some trade unions, maybe if you are in my part of the world where you can your job you are doing, you have trade unions that you belong to, you sometimes save monies with them, right? They're a form of contribution, or yeah, could be a form of mutual funds that you keep with them. So when you want to start a business, all you have to do is to go for them, right? If not, such unions also give you loans at very, very cheap rates. So if you don't belong to any of such, and then in your country those things are allowed, you may want to think of joining them. That could be a great source of capital for you because their interests are very, very, very low as compared to the ones you get from the banks. So today, in summary, we have done what a sole proprietorship is. It's a kind of business, also known as one man business, whereby one individual owns and controls the affairs of the business, and then he or she enjoys the profits alone by himself, and then he provides capital, etc., etc. We also saw some of the advantages. We also saw some of the advantages, and then we finally saw the sources of capital for a sole proprietorship. If you enjoy this class, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and then. As I said, if you know anyone, any sole proprietorship example that you know, put it in the comment section for me, and I'll be glad to see it. I'm eager to hear from you. Lastly, please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please to my channel, and I'll be very grateful. Thank you so much. Please, this is the end of today's class. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe.